Welcome to the Seeking Wellness podcast, a journey to discover balance, wholeness, and holistic ways to thrive. I'm your host, Tash, from We Are for Wellness, and together we will explore and discover ways to lead a more balanced life, mind, body, and soul. Are you curious about alternative therapies, starting your spiritual journey, or simply looking for practical ways to feel better? You're in the right place. Through inspiring conversations with expert providers and healers, this podcast is here to guide you. Let's explore and seek the path to wellness together. Hi guys, welcome back to Seeking Wellness podcast with Tash, and today I am with Natalie. Hiya, Natalie.
Hi, Tash.
Hi.
Thanks for having me on.
You're welcome. Thank you for coming in. You just told me a load of other stuff I never knew about you as well. That you're into hypnobirth or trained in that, and then you're talking about grief and bringing communities together through grief, which is all amazing. And we can discuss that another time. But
Absolutely.
today, I would love to talk about PCOS,
Mm-hmm.
and you have kind of transformed your life and your gut health as well. You're very into gut health. And it all kind of stemmed from you discovering PCOS or having your journey with PCOS.
Mm.
So Natalie is a London-based branding designer and wellness advocate with a passion for holistic health. And after your own journey with PCOS, you discovered the power of nutrition, lifestyle shifts, and holistic healing through your well-being and transforming your well-being. You've got two children. How old are they?
I have Sienna, who is 6. She's about to turn 7 in December. And I have a little boy called Casey, who is 4.
Oh, cute and cute names. And you love to share your experience of how to inspire others as well through the natural, empowered approach to hormone balance and wellness. So I love this, especially the hormone aspect. So I had HA, hypothalamic amenorrhea, lost my period for 2 years, didn't have a period, and was just kind of told to go back on the pill. But it was due to overexercising, undereating, and the mental stress. So with PCOS, a lot of people kind of have heard that word and struggle and suffer with PCOS and all the symptoms that it can bring. So just bringing it back to basics then. So PCOS, how would you describe it? What is it?
So, polycystic ovary syndrome, it actually can encapsulate a lot of kind of different types of symptoms for different people. Some people get the sort of irregular periods, really kind of imbalanced hormones. So kind of just feeling that real kind of range of wild hormones, really. Other people can get actual painful cysts that sometimes people have to have them removed, or sometimes they sort of dissipate themselves and disappear over time. There can be various other kind of signs and symptoms. Sometimes people can put on weight. Sometimes people can have very bad sort of skin acne breakouts, even excess hair sort of on their face or on their bodies. So there's a really wide sort of range, I guess, of symptoms that come within that PCOS. Some people have cysts on their ovaries and wouldn't even know. They don't have any symptoms, it doesn't affect them. But then obviously there's the other kind of sliding scale where for some people it can be debilitating. And it can also really affect people's fertility journey. So
Mm.
that was kind of something that really struck it with myself. So a bit about my kind of background. So my parents, I'm an only child. My parents took 11 years to have me, and they struggled to conceive. They had IVF that didn't work for them. And then, fortunately, I came along 11 years later. So that has always been quite kind of in my subconscious, I guess, as I've been kind of like growing up. And then during my teenage years, my periods were just all over the place, and I was kind of back and forwards, like they were really long, they were painful, they were so irregular. I didn't know when they were going to come. Um, and then was put on the pill, as most
Mm.
people are. That's always the first port of call, it feels like.
Mm.
And then I didn't know any different. I was very young. But fast forward into my 20s, I decided to come off the pill. I wanted to give my body a break. And I then started to get very, very painful kind of episodes where I would have to go into hospital because I was just in so much pain.
Mm.
And the pain was cysts. So that was what was causing the pain. And every single time I went in, they were like telling me what it was. It's a cyst, it might just go away on its own, or you could go back on the pill. And I was just thinking, I just don't really want to live my life like this, wondering, when's the next cyst going to come? And there was no answers. Like, no one could tell me, oh, if you do this, this, and this, that will really help. There was nothing.
Mm.
And so I got really, really frustrated. And as I kind of came into my 30s and I met my now husband, I knew that I had a passion to want to heal myself if I could. So I really dived into a lot of reading and research. I'm not a nutritionist, but at the time I was looking about kind of, the effects of processed foods on our hormones, the effects of things like fragrances
Mm.
and toxic chemicals in our skincare and in our cleaning products. And so all of these things together can really affect our endocrine system.
Mhm.
And I actually found it really interesting and really fascinating. And so I read about something called an elimination program, which basically cuts out allergenic foods for a period of time. So by cutting out those allergenic foods, what it does is it reduces the inflammation in your body, and in turn, it helps to kind of sort out your blood sugar levels, like rebalance your blood sugar levels. And because of that, it rebalanced the hormone levels as well. So
Mm.
in turn, it's kind of really taking all of the kind of toxins out for a period to allow your gut to reset, your body to kind of reset. And also, it was a bit of a learning curve, really, for me to see what fueled my body in the best possible way. And I felt personally that I found out that dairy was something that just did not make me feel good. I eat dairy now, but I just don't have loads of it because I know that it ends up making me feel a bit bloated, a bit sluggish. And I just think so many people can find out ways of finding out what works for them and what doesn't.
Mm.
And now I'm not saying that this is a blanket answer for everyone who has got hormonal issues, but I do think it's really good to just take a look at what you're eating, what you're consuming, and also what you're putting on your skin, because that is your biggest organ. And that is what can really, like soy, can be such a big hormone disruptor. And I didn't know that before I learned about it. And
Mm.
actually, soy is in so many things, so many kind of like breads and so many other kind of like processed foods. Um, so through doing that, within 3 months, I was trying to fall pregnant, and I fell pregnant with my daughter. So that was one of the biggest signs for me that that really worked for
Mm.
me. But there are other things like other holistic practices that I did alongside to help my mental health. So, kind of reducing stress by I was doing reflexology and acupuncture and yoga, like lots of things that I knew would nourish my body and my soul alongside, the kind of more active things that I was doing, as well as kind of um,
Mhm.
watching kind of what I was eating and being more kind of self-aware, I guess, not horrendously restrictive. Because I always say to people, like, I wasn't really, really restrictive. I was doing it quite gently. So then about 6 months after that, I had another scan and they told me that they could see that I had had cysts on my ovaries, but I didn't have them anymore.
Mm.
And I was so thankful and grateful to my younger self for doing that research and doing that work And I think that I'm just such an advocate for looking after our hormone health, because I think that we just don't have enough out there to help us.
Mm.
And sometimes it is sort of left down to our own devices, really, with how we can support that,
Yeah.
using nutritional supplements. But also another thing I really believe in is that reduction of stress. Like, I think stress can really, really affect our hormones and our general kind of wellness and well-being.
Mm.
So I always try and say to people, like, try and do a 5 minute meditation every day, just to have something like that for yourself, especially for busy mums. You know what it's like. We always just feel like we're doing everything for everybody else, and our wellness gets put to the bottom of the
Yeah.
pile.
Yeah, 100%. That is really important. Everything you just said there is taking that holistic approach, isn't it? And taking a step back and looking at your nutrition and lifestyle.
Mm,
It was the same with me. I was recommended more the just have the pill and your period will come back, even though it's not your real period on the pill. It's a fake
hmm.
bleed. And I needed to get to the root cause of why my hormones were like that. And
Yeah.
with PCOS, I understand that there's usually high androgens at play, possibly male hormones,
Yeah.
and then you potentially might have cysts on your ovaries, and some people experience irregular periods, don't they?
Yeah.
And managing your blood sugar levels is really key with majority of PCOS, because there's different types, isn't there?
Mm.
So the majority of PCOS is, yeah, managing your blood sugar, and even maybe like coffee and things like that. They all can play a part. And you mentioned dairy, that can be a really big one, inflammatory. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, so just working with loads of different aspects to try to help your hormones, really give them a helping hand. Because a lot of the time, I think like is it metformin that's prescribed?
That is one that I've heard of. There's another one that I can't remember the name of, that someone I knew was taking. If you would say it, it would come to me, but I can't think of what it is. But yeah, it's quite an obscure name. But yes,
Yeah.
there are, I do. I think there's a place for medication. Absolutely, I do. But I think that there's other avenues that can be taken a look at first. Um, and I think that's kind of where I would go. Like, for example, like at the moment, my dad has this like tummy trouble, and I'm just like, why don't you just see if you've got something that you're allergic to? Like, I don't understand why they don't kind of direct you in that direction. Like, speak to a nutritionist first before taking all these random tablets that
Mm,
aren't actually working for you. I know I'm digressing, but yeah, it's just about, like you said, finding out what the root cause is and really helping to support that.
mm,
And another thing that you touched on there, yeah, sometimes there's a real imbalance of our hormones. So we can have a higher amount, I think, of like progesterone and very low estrogen. So that can really cause havoc with how our hormones are kind of playing out and being affected.
mm,
And also, as a woman, this is another thing. We go through such huge hormonal stages in our life, from puberty to, then fertility journeys, potentially like having a baby, so pregnancy hormones, then post-pregnancy, and then perimenopause and menopause. Like, there are huge transitions that our body and our hormones are going through in our lifespan as a woman. And I just think that we are not being aware of how we can support that in the best possible way on a day-to-day basis. And that's another reason why I'm just like so passionate. And especially, when people are busy and hectic
mm,
with their life and things feel stressful, it's really important to maybe just do one healthy habit a day. Like, make sure that I take my pre and probiotic and reduce that intake of coffee because it gives me the jitters or it makes me feel anxious. Like making sure that I'm drinking enough water and I'm getting out to be in natural sunlight for 10 minutes a day. Like, these are kind of small incremental habits that people can, put into their life to make things feel better kind of long term and really help to support their health.
Yeah, and even like blood sugar balance, eating within like half an hour, 1 hour of waking up
Mm,
is key for a lot of the hormone issues as well. So not just PCOS. So yeah, that's a key little tip as well. I would definitely suggest. And it's probably worth mentioning that people often feel, I don't know, when they get the diagnosis of PCOS, that they can't do anything about it or they're going to struggle forever. But there's many people that have managed PCOS and get
yeah.
pregnant and manage their
Yes.
periods, etc. So it's not to feel disheartened. It's just maybe
Yeah.
some lifestyle tweaks, some nutrition tweaks that could definitely benefit. And another thing that I remember was vitamin D, and then I had to look it up why. But vitamin D, from my understanding, 85% of women with PCOS are deficient in vitamin D. So
Hmm.
just something like that, you potentially might not be, but you could obviously get some tests to see if you are, or I'm assuming just kind of up your vitamin D intake naturally or via a pill, and just little things like that that could maybe help.
Absolutely. I think it's really important to, take a really good like multivitamin if that's going to be helpful for you, that has got that vitamin D in there that can really help boost. Um, and also as well, like I said, a pre and probiotic for your gut.
Yeah,
So gut health is everything. It is basically our whole immune system and so related to our hormone health with the insulin balance as well. So that is something that I would also say is really, really important. And I don't know if many people know this. Some people do, but if we take a course of antibiotics, which a lot of people do, like especially this time of year when there's coughs and colds and bronchitis and flu and all this kind of stuff going around. So one course of antibiotics, obviously it kills your good and your bad bacteria in your gut because it's just eliminating everything. And
mm,
so you really need to make sure that you're replenishing your gut with that good bacteria.
mm,
Because what it can do is it can actually take up to 2 years to replenish that good bacteria in your gut. So just always make sure that you are kind of supporting that gut health by taking a really, really good pre and probiotic post an antibiotic course.
yeah, or alongside. I feel like I've done it alongside.
Alongside,
Yeah.
absolutely, even better. If you're taking it alongside, that's even better, and especially as well for children,
Mm,
because they are so young and their gut health, their microbiome, like it's all starting to kind of like grow and develop. So it's really worth getting that into their bodies while they're still so young.
yeah.
Um,
And probiotics can come in obviously a pill form, but also they can be like kefir, sauerkraut, things like that, right?
Absolutely.
Food
Yeah.
form.
Yeah, absolutely. Sauerkraut, kefir, like you said. Um, and powder formats as well. Like I take a powder format sachet, which I have in a drink. And my kids actually take a little powder format, which they put straight into their mouth. So it's just about like whatever works best for you, and your kind of busy schedule and regime as well. But yes, obviously try and get that really good bacteria into your diet as well. It's always good to have. I think it's great to be able to have both. I mean, our food now is not as nutritionally high in value as it used to be, say, 20, 30, 40 years ago. So, it's great to be able to get a full range and eat whole foods and reduce that kind of toxicity with not having so many processed foods. But our fruits and our vegetables are not what they were because of over fertilization. So that's why taking additional supplements, whether that is greens, whether that is pre and probiotics, like whatever that is, like additional supplements, multivitamins, like that is going to give you that additional boost to really enhance and help your like optimize your well-being. So I am all for that. And also anything that you don't need, or your body will take what it needs. Anything that you don't need, it will come
Yeah.
out.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
it's fine. You might as well take the extra. And then if
Yeah.
your body doesn't need it, then it will get rid of it as waste. So
Yeah. And so we spoke about the like nutrition parts there then,
mm,
some little key kind of takeaway tips and pointers there. So with the external environment, so your cleaning products, what you're putting perfumes and stuff on your skin, Do you want to talk a little bit about that and how that can affect our hormones?
Yeah, absolutely. So I was listening to a podcast actually recently, which was so shocking, but so important and so valuable to know. And she was talking about fragrance and
Mm.
she was talking about perfume. And she was actually saying fragrance and parfum, which is on the back of, fragrance bottles and things like that, is possibly the worst thing that we can be using.
Mm.
I knew fragrance wasn't great, but I didn't even realize the gravity of it, as in sort of like carcinogens. And we're spraying this into our body, but also into our environment as well, and things like antiperspirant, deodorants, things like that. So I made a switch many years ago to aluminium free deodorant,
Yeah,
and
I
I
use
love
Wild.
I
Have you
use
heard them?
fussy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess it's what someone, it's what it works for you.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
there's
yeah.
there are lots and lots of really great clean brands out there now. And it's the same with laundry and cleaning products. There's so many different brands that I'm using, I'm trying. There's neat cleaning products, there's Purdy and Fig and lots of different ones. Tallow and ash is what I really like because it has got that natural, like essential oil fragrances. So that's also
Yeah.
what the lady said on the podcast. She said things like essential oils are safe to use, but things that are parfum that are created with lots of chemicals and synthetics, that's where they can be really, really big hormone disruptors and really big sort of endocrine disruptors. It was a really, really interesting thing to listen to. And
Mm.
she also talked about candles as well.
I was about to say candles.
Mm.
I have so many candles, but yeah, they're not good, are they? Even the plug-in, like plug-in air fresheners or whatever, all of
Mm.
that.
So it's the kind of synthetics that she was really kind of talking about. And I mean I can share that with you if you want to listen to it, or
Yeah,
your
yeah.
listeners want
And
to listen
refer
to
it.
it,
Yeah.
because I just my eyes were really opened. And even though I'm quite aware of what I'm putting on my body and on my skin, yeah, I was like,
Mm.
wow, such big hormone disruptors. And
And
also
it's
because,
I was going to
sorry.
say, no, I was just going to quickly say, and it's daily, right? It's not, oh, I just wear perfume once in a blue moon. You're doing it every single day and your body's absorbing that.
Mhm.
And everyone around you, your kids and stuff, breathing it in.
That's it, because she said it's you're spraying it, but it's remaining in the air particles.
Mm.
So it is always around you that you're constantly like breathing in. Like it's really
Yeah.
fascinating when you kind of like think about it. I can't remember what I was going to say now, but
Oh, sorry.
no, 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 it's fine. I just found it very, very interesting. I know. So I have a daughter. I think have you got a daughter or a
Yeah,
son?
their daughter.
So I have been reading a lot recently about younger girls um, starting their periods earlier.
Mm.
And I don't know if you've come across any articles like that, have
I've
you?
heard about it because of the potentially toxins and stuff in the environment. It's making women,
So
well, the girls.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So I've been reading a lot about that, and I've been it's just blown away. Like I just think, girls as young as sort of 8, or maybe even younger, starting their periods. And we just think you you have your periods for the rest of your life pretty much until you hit menopause. So why do they need to be starting their periods so
Mm.
young? And I just couldn't believe it. So again, the things that I'm trying to do in my house, when it comes to cleaning products, because things like not using bleach in the toilets,
Mm.
and using cleaning products that are created with like essential oils, are going to be better than harsh chemical bleaches, synthetic things. Because again, we're sitting on the toilet all the time. Our kids are sitting on the toilet and around the bathroom. And so that's been something that I've really wanted to make a big change in my house with regards to that.
Mm.
Um,
And
and things like
it's about
dishing.
taking, go on, no, you go.
No, I was just going to say, and things like dishwashing tablets as well. Like we're eating off of those all the time. and the particles of those chemicals that are washing our dishes, we're eating that. So we need to be making sure that those are toxic free and
Mm.
as like harmless as possible. Like, there's only so much that we can control with regards to the environment around us and the toxicity that we're exposed to, but we are able to reduce that as much as we can within our homes.
Without it
Sorry.
becoming too stressful, because that's another thing, obviously,
Yeah.
that stress can play a big part. And do you find a lot of these in the supermarkets? Like certain things are coming more in the supermarkets, but if not, are you seeking these products out online?
I am, yeah. I'm generally kind of taking a look at what is kind of best and really looking at what the ingredients are,
Mm.
and I always think like less is better. So if there's like fewer ingredients, it's going to be more beneficial than having
Mm.
long lists of crazy long words that are going to be synthetic
Yeah,
chemical
yeah.
based things. But yeah, I have been kind of, I've been looking for recommendations through friends or
Mm.
other people that I've been kind of watching online, and that's how I found Fussy was obviously on Dragon's Den as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
So that people are so much more aware now of what they are consuming, and they're really wanting to make sure that they are putting good things in their body and having that around their home and around their family. So I think that, the world is changing, and we are being more kind of exposed to better options now. So it's just about doing your research around that and seeing what works for you, because
Mm.
things different things work for different people. And especially when it comes to hormone health, there's not one size as well that fits all, with regards to kind of healing and supporting. And
Yeah.
that's always what I kind of say to people, because I share this as my own journey, and I share it because I want to give people hope who might be feeling a bit deflated about their own journeys and maybe what doctors would have told them. Um, with regards to kind of fertility, like I want people to be like, wow, well, if she can, then I can. And finding ways that will work best for them to support their hormone
Mm.
health and their journeys, like moving forward.
Yeah. And it, like you just said, individually. So most of us are so busy, overwhelmed, we're trying to do loads of things and spin all the plates at one time. And
Mm.
you're a mum too. So how do you kind of manage your stress levels on a day-to-day kind of basis?
That's a good question. That is
Mm.
a good question. I have a practice that I do every single morning, Monday to Friday. I wake up an hour before my kids at 6, and I go downstairs and I have some time to myself. And what that looks like, I read a book called The Miracle Equation by Hal Elrod, which is a really brilliant book, by the way. And I think everyone should start their day with some kind of ritual for themselves and their self-care, whatever that might look like. And then for me, it looks like waking up a bit earlier. I start with meditation. I write a gratitude journal. So I write down things that I'm really grateful for. I also write down like how I'm feeling, like if I'm feeling tired or maybe a bit stuck with something. And I usually feel so much lighter once I've
Mm.
done that little bit of writing. I also do some affirmations. I move my body. So I might do some yoga or stretches. Um, and then I have some time to read a personal development book. Like at the moment, I'm reading The Secret.
Yeah.
I'm sure that people have heard of The Secret. So
Yeah.
I'm reading this at the moment. And it's just that lovely time for me. And the thing is because I do that, I notice that when I don't do that, I'm in a very different space and a very different energy. I feel more flat, I feel more tired. I feel probably maybe a bit more like impatient, maybe with the
Mm.
kids. Whereas if I've had that time for myself, I feel like it sets me up well for the day. So that's one thing that I would say for me is a non-negotiable. And I have shared with other busy people that you can carve out some time for yourself. It doesn't have to be an hour.
Mm.
It could be 10 minutes, just being able to take a listen to a podcast or something, like whatever that might look like. for you. I try and get out as well in the day when I am working, just for like a 5 minute walk, even if it's literally round the block.
Hmm.
And again, it's very invigorating and it's really good, I know, for like my mental health and also physical from walking.
Hmm.
Another thing I do tell other kind of busy mums is schedule your time. I know that sounds really like boring and weird, but if you have a task to do, put a timer on for like 20 minutes or 30 minutes, because it's unbelievable how much you get done, how much more you get done in a designated amount of time. Because what happens is your brain just goes into sort of hyper focus and you get so much more done. Whereas if you've got a whole day or 3 or 4 hours to do something, then you sort of end up kind of pottering around and
Mm.
not quite getting sort of that focused, intentional time. And I've found that that really, really helps with regards to having little time, but wanting to have a small amount of focused, intentional time. So they are kind of key things that I do. And the other thing I do every day is I always look after myself and take my greens and my probiotic. Like it's a part of my daily ritual every single day,
Mm.
as well as my skincare, and I do gua sha and facial like massage and yoga. So that for me is a big part of my self-care and my well-being. Um, and I know not everyone has like lots of time. We all are so time poor. But just if you can, like do things when you can.
Mm.
Um, uh,
100%.
so yeah,
No,
that
that's
those things
great.
will kind of help me.
Yeah, I love
And
all those
listening to
suggestions.
podcasts, listening to amazing podcasts, while I'm out walking or when I'm driving the kids somewhere. I love listening to books and listening to podcasts, and I feel like that brings me like also a lot of kind of joy in listening to things.
Mm, yeah, I love all those answers. They are perfect. With your, I know it's kind of taken a different turn, but I would love to talk about gut health as well,
Hmm.
a little bit more because you do gut resets. So I
I
wanted
do.
to talk about that. What is a gut reset? Should everyone be doing them? How often?
Oh, yes. I mean, basically, the gut reset that I do is very interlinked with what I spoke about earlier with regards to the elimination program.
Hmm.
That's basically kind of what it is. So it's a 30-day period of time where you eliminate allergenic foods. So taking out coffee, um, dairy, gluten, soy,
Mm.
and alcohol. And taking that out of your diet for that 30-day period. I know it sounds extreme, but it's actually so much easier than people think that it's going to be, because there are so many different kind of options, I think, nowadays anyway.
Mm.
And also by kind of eating, like focusing on more whole foods, oh yeah, eliminating like refined sugar,
Mm.
so having more natural sugars and things like that. I tend to do it a few times a year because I know that it really, really does benefit my body, and the benefits that I feel and my clients feel with regards to that are better sleep, better hormone health, so they feel better when they are sort of on their periods or they get less pain, reduced bloating, really good for people who might have like IBS or kind of other kind of digestive issues. Um, Also great for energy. And lifting that kind of brain fog if they're feeling a bit like sluggish in the afternoon. And it really kind of helps people to really think about more, be more mindful about what they're eating. Like I always tell people, like it's not a diet, it's a lifestyle change for that 30 days.
Hmm.
And then after that 30 days, you learn what serves your body and maybe what doesn't. So
Yeah.
for me, it was learning that dairy just doesn't do it for me. And I still
Yeah.
have dairy, like I said, but it's just about reducing that because I know what makes me feel really good. And I live by that sort of 80-20 rule. Like I'm not restrictive. I have sweet treats and things like that, but I make them more healthy. Like I make protein balls and my kids love the protein balls, and I make protein pancakes and things like so it's having things that are healthier options but still tasty and delicious. And
I bet it helps your skin too, right?
yes,
With the
so
gut reset.
massively, massively, because that gut skin connection is so interlinked.
Mm,
That absolutely, it's really helped a lot of people with that, like clear up skin, and people have just really noticed as well that their skin is a lot more sort of glowy. I just had a client who's just finished it actually, and she was like,
mm.
people are just asking me what I'm doing because my skin is just so good and glowy. And I love that people get those results, and it really does help with people's confidence as well. Like I get a lot of postpartum mums that really want to kind of do something to just kind of support themselves and have a bit of like a reset and a refresh. And that can also be a really good time to
Yeah,
do
I
it.
might look into it as well. And then when you end after the month, do you
Hmm.
just slowly incorporate things back if you want to? You wouldn't
Yeah.
go ridiculous like the next day go have all dairy all day long kind
No.
of thing.
No, no, no. So yeah,
Slowly.
you would very very slowly start to incorporate things back into your life, and that's it. Like some people may do that and be like, "Oh yeah, that's not really working so much for me. I know I feel better when I'm maybe reducing my gluten intake, or I'm actually fine without coffee." Like
Mm,
surprisingly, again, I had another client who was on like 5 or 6 cups a day to get her through. And after she did this plan, which she was quite nervous about, because she said, "Oh God, how am I gonna
mm,
cope without having that coffee?" She realized that her body actually didn't need it because
mm,
she was getting that energy through, reducing the inflammation in her body and supporting that gut health. So she just didn't need or crave that coffee. And we also have like a community of other people doing it at the same time. So there's that accountability platform. There's recipes. There's like I always support people on a
mm.
one-to-one basis as well because I've been through it and I do it so many times a year with various different groups. So, yeah, if anyone did want to hear more information about that, I'd be more than happy to chat with them. And even with yourself as well,
Mm.
Tash. Like, we are going to have a big group of us doing it at the beginning of January
Oh
because
yeah.
December's that time where people
Yeah.
might get a bit overindulged, and January's just an amazing time to have a bit of a sort of reset and a refresh.
Okay, cool. And with the coffee, obviously there's alternatives even with the food, but coffee obviously
Yeah.
there's decaf potentially. I heard something where your body, if you always have coffee at the same kind of time every day, if you don't have it at that time, you start to get headaches like migraines around that time because your body produces some kind of hormone. I'm not quite sure
Mm,
in like response of they're going to have a coffee right now, blah blah. So
mm.
you might feel, I'm assuming maybe people might get headaches from stopping, but it's going over that hump and
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
and then it'll
So
be fine.
so so not always, but sometimes my clients it's usually within the first week.
Mm,
So within the first week of them taking out that coffee, we do have another supplement that they can take, which is helps support energy. So it's slow release energy, and that's made with green tea extract. So that's a lot more gentle on
mm,
our bodies, and
mm,
it still gives us that energy boost, but naturally. So that's something that people are having instead of. But yeah, within the first week, sometimes people might be getting a couple of headaches, maybe here and there, not everyone. And usually it's about increasing that water intake
mm,
instead. So it's really about hydrating your body because the thing is coffee does the opposite to hydration. It really kind of it sucks the hydration out of your body. So that's why you end up getting those headaches. You really need to increase that sort of water intake. So, but that is an important thing to mention. And also sometimes people really get anxious with coffee. It can
mm,
create jitters or anxiety. But I think people are so conditioned to drink a cup of coffee, have coffee, that keeps me
mm,
awake. They don't think about other alternatives that could be healthier or better for them. Because you have that coffee and you get that energy peak, but then you get that slump very, very quickly, and you're like, oh, need another coffee. So then you get the other coffee and another coffee, so you get into this cycle where it's a coffee addiction.
Mm.
rather than seeing, well, what can I have that's an alternative that's going to give me energy and nourish my body in the best possible way. But yeah, that's a really interesting point, actually.
So to kind of wrap this up, I like
Hmm.
to usually ask my person I'm chatting to if they can provide a question or maybe a homework task, so a question that someone can ponder on or a homework task they
Ooh.
can ponder on in relation to what we've been speaking about. So maybe more PCOS related. So is there a homework task someone could do? Is there a question that they could have a think about in relation to
Mm.
PCOS? Putting you on the spot. So
I like the
it'd be
question
hard.
though. I do.
Mm,
Um, I think my question to people would probably be, which is related to PCOS, but it's also related to general wellness, is what can you do every day, a small thing that can start to elevate your wellness practice, like for yourself? You know, for example, could that be making sure that every day I go for a walk for 5 minutes?
mm,
Could that be waking up half an hour earlier for myself? Could that be drinking another glass of water? Um, could that be having an hour off my phone? Like,
yeah.
I don't know what that might look like for someone, but that could be a really nice question to start with and to really think, how can I help my wellness, especially going into 2026? Like, what's that going to look like for me on a daily basis? Does that make
Perfect.
sense?
Yeah, perfect question because it could have so many different answers and even to do with the household toxins, kind of
Mm,
chemicals. How could you potentially crack one, I don't know, one room like your kitchen cleaning or something that could help towards your overall well-being? So yeah, that's
absolutely.
great. Thank you so much for your time. Where can people check you out or have a little chat with you?
People can come and check me out on Instagram. So my Instagram handle is at neat like Natalie. So neat NEAT underscore LIKE underscore Natalie NATALIE. So neat like Natalie, come and find me on Instagram. I will always endeavor to get back to any DMs there. Um, and yeah, I'm also on LinkedIn, Natalie Hellman. I'm just trying to think where else I can share people with.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Um,
perfect.
yeah, mainly there. That's probably where I will be most kind of responsive. Um, I'm still in the phase of building my branding website, so that is not yet finished.
Yeah.
But when it is, I can always give you those details.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you so much for your time. It was really nice talking to you, very refreshing. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode. Visit weofferwellness.co.uk to find lots of wellness experiences along with more resources to help you on your wellness journey.